NVIDIA may be down after earnings, but many are still bullish on the future of this company and the chip sector as a whole. Here to talk more about NVIDIA's impact on the entire industry and three stocks that could benefit from NVIDIA's strong earnings report is MarketBeat analyst Gabriel Osorio-Mazilli. Gabriel, NVIDIA is all anyone is talking about right now. It finished down almost 10% on Monday.
Right. And as you know, the Max 7 bet is one of the most crowded trades in the market today, led by NVIDIA and other AI names as well. But the focus is on NVIDIA because of its market leadership role, despite the bearish price action recently. There's one thing about expectations not being met in the market and actual bullish fundamentals. And I think NVIDIA is fitting the former right now. That is where savvy investors can take advantage of the market sentiment, which might not be too rational at the moment.
Very good explanation of what seems to be going on right now. A lot of investors are really emotional about this because so many people have such a big stake in NVIDIA. Kind of talk about how that can fuel what's going on in the market right now.
The one thing that it fuels is volatility. Because if people start doubting Nvidia and the story behind the company and its future potential, then the S&P, the Nasdaq, and everything else is going to go down with it. Now, as you see the 110 to 115 level on the chart, a lot of aggressive buyers have come in to bail it out. And I think that might have been the bottom, at least in the short term. There's also other factors like the forward PE ratios, which are falling behind the comparables, and also the earnings per share growth projected for 2026. Now, keep in mind that Nvidia did beat by 2 billion on revenue and they forecasted even better financial metrics for next year. So I think that the market was so used to seeing triple digit growth over the past 3 to 4 years that they now see double digits, even high double digit percentage growth rates, and they just don't see it as amazing anymore. That is where savvy investors can take advantage of the market's irrationality right now.
Well, that is definitely the tone of what we're going to be talking about today. In your mind, NVIDIA is still very much a buy right now as the market kind of takes that stock lower. Something similar is happening with other stocks in the sector that originally saw a boost after NVIDIA's earnings report and now are kind of trickling down right alongside NVIDIA. Let's get to your list of three other companies in the AI space that are set to benefit right alongside NVIDIA.
Right, so as you said, these three stocks today, they saw a significant boost right after Nvidia's earnings, reflecting the reality of the numbers behind the company. Yet, over the past few days, they're falling right along the market, right along Nvidia as well. And I think that exemplifies the opportunity for investors who are willing to look past this sentiment and look into the actual numbers. So that being said, I want to start the list off with Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing. Why? Because you can't have Nvidia without Taiwan. NVIDIA relies on Taiwan Semiconductor for the foundational components to make their chips. The ones that are revolutionizing the industry and the ones that AI and its development and adoption across the world rely on as well. It shouldn't surprise you to see double-digit upside implied by Wall Street analyst targets on Taiwan Semiconductor stock right now. And keep in mind, this stock was once a Warren Buffett favorite. Before the whole AI quote-unquote bubble or mania started, which he's not very fond of. So he got out of the stock, but that doesn't mean the fundamentals did change for the company. If anything, they've gotten better. Right now, they're looking to invest over $100 billion into domestic manufacturing activity in the US to bring the supply chain of semiconductors outside of Asia and into North America. When you take into account the whole tariff deal with China, the tariff deal with Taiwan as well, you can see the willingness from the company to accommodate to the president's agenda and the president's goals to bring back manufacturing to the United States. And that premium will eventually be realized by the market through the stock price.
Yeah, that announcement came out just yesterday with the Taiwan Semiconductor CEO actually visiting the White House for a joint press conference. And we saw the stock kind of react to that news. The stock previously had been going down, but then yesterday there was a little bit of movement on the stock. Let's pull up the chart, Gabriel.
You saw the stock bottom at 171, only to rally 9 points the day after on this announcement. And to me, that's the market sentiment being accepting of Nvidia's pullback and being understanding that sometimes the sentiment is not going to match the fundamentals. And eventually, those two will catch up and you'll see stocks like Taiwan Semiconductors pull right back to the 52-week highs.
And that's a similar story or similar outlook you have for your second pick in this list of three stocks set to benefit right alongside NVIDIA.
So my second pick is Dell. And that stock not only has a 40% upside implied by the $150 a share price target set on by Wall Street today, but it's also directly related to NVIDIA. So anything that's good for NVIDIA, it's going to be good for Dell. And as you saw, NVIDIA beat on top line revenue and got even better numbers for next year. I think Dell is going to be exposed to this new theme.
Now let's look at Dell. It's had a really interesting year, down quite a bit, actually.
You're absolutely right. The stock right now trades at 53% of its 52-week high, which is deep into bearish territory. But given that the forward PE, which is the way that the market prices in future earnings, is only trading at 8.8 times, which is really a steep discount compared to NVIDIA's 21.1 multiple. That's nearly 3 times less than the market leader. Now, considering that these two have a partnership in the AI workspace being developed by Dell, which also relies on NVIDIA's chips, remember, what's good for NVIDIA, it's going to be good for Dell. And comparing the two valuations today and the price action, I think that NVIDIA is going to stay at top and Dell has to catch up sooner or later.
And like NVIDIA, analysts are pretty bullish on the future of Dell too.
Yes, so right now with a $150 price target, they see a 40% implied rally from the stock price today. Now, when you look at the latest investor presentation on the latest quarter financials, you can also see that investors are looking at a 10% dividend growth rate over the next 4 years, and also a mid-single digit growth rate for revenue. This is the guidance given out by management. And of course, when you have a company as big as Dell, anything in the mid-single digits higher is going to be bullish in the stock price.
Yeah, these two companies are definitely tied together. And if you are bullish on NVIDIA, then you're likely bullish on the entire AI sector as a whole. If you're looking for more stocks and investments in this sector, check out our free premium report on the 10 best AI stocks to invest in 2025. You can scan the QR code or click the link in the description of this video to get that free report right now on MarketBeat.com. Let's get on to your third pick, Gabriel.
Yeah, so the third name in this list, and it's also directly tied to NVIDIA's success, is Oracle. You see, Oracle develops the software and training models for this AI to be developed and spread out worldwide. Now, you need NVIDIA on the hardware side, but those chips are only useful if you can put them to use in these training models that I just mentioned. And that is where Oracle stock comes into play. Now, Wall Street analysts are very much aware of this dynamic, which is why they see double-digit upside through the $205 per share price targets today, and also why some institutional investors like the UBS asset management branch have built up a multi-billion-dollar stake on the stock today.
So analysts are bullish on Oracle, but so far, at least right now, investors are having kind of the same reaction they are to NVIDIA. The stock price is down quite a bit right now for Oracle.
This whole industry of semiconductors and AI is interconnected. And like we mentioned earlier, it is the biggest bet or the most crowded bet in the market today. Now, Oracle trades at 78% of its 52-week high, which is slightly on the bearish side, according to Wall Street definition of a bear market, which is a 20% decline from new highs, right? So that only tells you, as an investor, that you now have a way better risk to reward setup in this stock, especially if you believe that NVIDIA is going to keep beating on the top line and bottom line numbers as they already did on the latest quarter. So for Oracle, I think that a lower price only means a better reward.
There are some investors who will say, don't catch a falling knife, and maybe don't believe that this company or this industry is going to see the turnaround the bullish investors are looking for.
Right, and that is a very, very valid saying. But you have to keep in mind who it was made for. It was made for the guys that only look at a stock when it's down without thinking about the fundamentals, without thinking about the future of the industry, without even looking at the numbers. And here, we've done the homework to realize that analysts might be right today by calling a double-digit upside for all of these three names. Keep in mind that AI demand is only going to keep going higher, especially if the claims out of China are correct. And now the barriers of entry are going to be lower and lower and lower as the global economy becomes digitized.
All right, well, thank you for breaking down all of the info on these stocks and NVIDIA. Make sure to check out our other recent video on NVIDIA on this channel too. Thanks for watching, everyone, and as always, happy investing.